What the is the deal with cursing? We're going to talk about that tonight. Can Ken swear on this podcast? Find out next.
Tuned. Stay tuned.
Find out next.
Drop it.
Find out next. Here we go. Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to another episode of the Not Safe for Sunday podcast. I am Josh, and it's fall, y'all. It's actually spooky season now. You got... Ooh, spooky. What's up, Ken?
Is it still pumpkin spice season? I mean, I'm just going to keep this thing
think
going every episode.
I think we're in the heart. We're in the heart of
We're in the heart of it?
season.
Okay. Yeah, I still haven't had one.
Why?
I don't like it.
And not
so-
anything. What, like a pumpkin beer?
Oh, my gosh.
pumpkin beer
that
is
sounds
good.
even worse than a pumpkin spice latte.
Pumpkin beer is tasty.
It's
I
good.
can't even imagine that.
It's tasty. It's good.
Tasty.
It's nutmeggy.
Nutmeggy. Wow.
No and no.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. So, yeah,
Alright.
my thing with pumpkin spice is latte. It's just like so like synthetic-y tasting to me. I don't know. It's not like a normal flavor to me.
You should see this guy's order when we go to Java Shack, though. It's like chai with double quadruple pump of chunky chocolate chips and all this. I'm talking about synthetic.
That's such a force, man.
Oh, my God.
Such a force.
What's your order?
I just order a named drink. So if you're talking about a chai, the Cinnamon Toast Crunch Chai Latte is excellent. But that's how I order it. I don't customize it with pumps or anything like that.
There's no pumps.
This guy's
Two
forcing.
pump.
You guys all love forcing, man. Jeez.
Easy. We haven't gotten to this part. We
Man,
haven't gotten to the main topic yet.
Daniel already makes me feel like in this episode, man.
Daniel,
I'm
what's up?
still holding on to my shorts. October,
more
man.
strong.
You're gonna name the moniker. You're gonna earn the moniker Shorts Guy.
That's it.
Shorts guy.
T-shirt guy. I'm a shorts guy.
T-shirt guy from
Oh,
last
that's
episode. Shorts Guy.
That's a
It's a
throwback.
callback.
I like it. I like it. Got to listen to last episode to get that one.
I like your hat.
Hey, thanks, man.
It's a nice hat.
This was an Acadia pickup when I went back in Labor Day weekend,
Nice.
September. Had a nice time. So.
Can I ask you an honest question?
What's up, Ken?
When's the last time you bought a hat before this one?
Last time I bought a hat before this
Yeah.
one?
Yeah.
It was also back in New Hampshire, probably 20. Oh, no. I bought a hat. I bought the Roots hat. That was like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago.
You bought that?
Well, I had it made,
It's
so I
merch.
bought it with my
For the
money.
store, for the Roots
With
store.
my money, with my money. But before that, it's probably been like 3 or 4 years.
Okay, yeah.
Why? I just wear the same hat.
Yeah. I mean, I do the same thing, so I'm not like dogging on you.
Yeah,
I was just like, it really stood out that you're wearing this hat because I feel like I have not seen a new hat on
Well,
you in a long time.
and this is a different style. It's colorful. I
It
usually
is.
just wear a black hat.
Yeah.
It's just straight brim. Like this one's got a curve to it. It's got a lot of colors. It's kind of truckery. I don't know. I'm trying to rebrand.
For those of you watching on YouTube, Daniel actually somewhat matches today, and that's like a total stroke of luck. He's got the white facade hat with a white shirt, dark pants and some dark colors on the hat. Oh, that just ruined it. Now I got to throw up. Now I'm gonna curse. I'm gonna curse and throw up.
This is
What's
brought
wrong,
up.
dude?
This just that you saying
Pay me
this-
like one of your French women, dude.
Jeez,
My
Louise.
gosh.
This actually brought up a good thought I just had. Like, when is the last time you bought a hat?
I can't even remember.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I was when I was in middle school and high school, I think I bought a new hat like all the time.
Hats were a thing.
Hats
yeah.
were a thing. I probably haven't bought a new hat in the last like 12 years.
Yeah, I honestly can't remember. It's probably one of these driver caps things that
The scally
the
cap.
scally that I like from time to time. But yeah, I cannot think of the last time I bought a hat. It's been that long.
I'm a hat guy. I like to wear hats because I'm too lazy to do my hair.
Hmm.
Now that I don't teach and I just work with this bum every day, I just like show up in a hat. It's perfect, So
Just toss on the hat.
exactly.
I use the hat for the same reason.
Yeah.
When I don't want to do my hair, just pop it on.
You can't wear a hat at work though, right?
No, I don't wear a hat.
Unless it was one of those like fancy postal carrier hats.
Like a train conductor.
It has to be a top hat.
Like a train
Top
conductor.
hats only, dude.
Yes, why, of course. I'm here to deliver your mail.
I look like the guy from Thomas the Tank Engine. Mr. What is his name? Mr. Topham Hat.
Mr. Topham Hat, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Woo.
John, does that unlock memories for
Man.
you or what?
Jake, who's your favorite tank engine?
My dad used to design Thomas the Tank Engine at Nyland. when we lived in Illinois, in Rockford. Right when it came out. He was a lead designer.
Oh, man.
He designed Thomas the tank.
The toy?
Yes, he did.
The toy?
The toy, yep.
Can you, Jake? Can you pull that up for me? You fact check that.
I don't know if it'll have his name, but I will look up.
Can you fact check that? I need a fact check.
I need a picture of Sir Topham Hatt, dude.
Sir Topham Hat. That's what it was. Not Mr. Topham Hat. Sir Topham Hat. John, do you remember any of that stuff?
Not really.
Oh, man. You were so into Thomas the Train when you were a kid. It's like when you were little. Like, so into Thomas the Train.
Top thing. There are no results. Oh, he clicked it away. There are no results for Nyland.
No. My dad's LinkedIn has it. See?
I can't think of any other of the train's
The
names
Thomas.
besides Thomas.
There was like a green one though. I remember.
Yeah, like they're all British names. Like
They were.
It was probably like Edward or something.
See? Thomas the Tank.
I see where you get your stories from, dude. Your dad's LinkedIn looks like a dictionary.
Oh, yeah.
Holy crap, dude.
Jake, can you pull up a picture of Sir Topham Hatt?
Yep, but you see the Thomas the Tank Engine, right?
Yeah, we saw it.
we do.
We're all over it.
Verified.
Yes, you're aware.
Conspiracy theory verified.
Thank you.
I could put anything on my LinkedIn too, dude.
1 out of 10.
Yeah. Spencer, do you have a favorite tank?
I didn't even know there was more than one.
Oh, there's multiple.
Oh,
tanks.
man.
Look
I
at
thought it was
Topham
just
Hatt.
about Thomas.
Wow,
He-
man.
He always reminded me of the Monopoly guy.
Oh, look at that,
Definitely.
dude. That's me at work.
Bossing everyone around.
That's
Come
great.
to my office
Get it in now.
immediately.
We need you to carry our mail.
Ken's address is 411, not 401. Shout out to Kevin.
Kev.
Oh my
Kev,
Spencer, when's the last time you bought a hat?
You know what? It's funny that you asked that because if you asked me that a while back, I would have probably had a similar answer to Josh. But I actually went to a Red Sox game back in late August, and I got this Cape Verdean celebration hat.
Nice.
So yeah, that's the last. I mean, I guess I technically bought it, but it came with the ticket, so it wasn't like a direct.
Oh, so
buy,
it's an
but
indirect buy.
That was the last hat that has come into my possession in a very long time.
Wow.
We went to me and Johnny went to a game like shortly before that because you went to Cape Verdean Heritage Night. I'm assuming if you got that hat.
Yep.
We went to a game shortly before that on Yacht Rock Night. Remember?
Oh yeah, shout out.
Yeah.
Shout out to Yacht Rock Night, dude. I was so pumped to see that you guys were there.
Yeah,
I
and
was so
let me
happy.
tell you something. Like I felt like the mayor because I had Johnny's captain hat from Naughty Boy, and throwback to that episode. And everybody else, or a lot of other people, had like a Red Sox captain's hat that they passed out to certain people that night. But everybody stopped me like, dude, that's a real hat. I love your hat. And I was
let's
just
go.
like, Yacht Rock, man,
Let's
come
go,
on.
dude.
Come on.
Troll.
Oh man,
The things you live for.
man, McCheese.
You know what?
It's embarrassing.
Just a little bit of notoriety. That's all I want.
But you know, the yacht rock thing has just consistently come back to me like multiple occasions.
came
I
up
have
again?
been introduced to yacht rock. Steve's like on his yacht rock
yes.
like
Steve
techno
loves
like
Yacht
remix
Rock.
yacht rock kick. Whenever I get in his truck, it's like, do you remember?
Oh, that's the best way to consume Yacht Rock.
I'm like, holy crap! It's like, dude, you were vibing on
Damn,
the way to church
I gotta
today.
start hanging out with Steve, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Me and Steve would really kick it.
I need to find that
Yeah,
playlist.
he's gonna probably have to school you in donut eatery
No.
He won't beat me.
connoisseury.
Listen, I've taken a lot of
he
heat.
really got on you for that.
I've taken a lot of heat. I never said that these were the best donuts of all time.
Yes, you
dude.
did.
kind of implied
Those
that.
were
tragic.
We may have to pull up
Bring
that
it back.
episode.
Bring up the
I
episode.
think there was a high standard placed. Otherwise, we would not have gone as long as we did
Jake,
endorsing
Jake,
Holy Donut Man.
Jake, you get a raise and a promotion tonight if you can pull up in this episode when Joshua talked about Holy Donuts.
We're gonna dub it over right now.
I think it was just the post. I think it was just the post.
We talked about this though. We talked.
Yeah,
about
it was like
this.
it was
We did
early.
the whole contest. It was months.
It was really
almost
early.
a year in the making.
No, it was
we wouldn't
yeah,
do that for
just about a year.
It was real early. Anyways, Johnny, what's up?
Nothing much.
How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Just chilling.
How's your October going?
It's good.
Having a good time.
Threw back a few apple beers already.
Apple.
No pumpkins.
Wow.
No
Not pumpkin beer.
apple
Wow.
only.
You know what I'll tell you. Since we're on the topic of hats and especially the Red Sox, I miss the Pawtucket Red Sox hats, dude.
Paw socks.
Pee on it.
With
Yeah.
the paw, with the bear paw.
I like that team, but I like the Woo Sox name better.
Do you? I'm not a big fan, dude.
I'm a fan of the
Oh.
Woo Sox.
Well, and I think they blew it when they didn't make Ric Flair their mascot, dude. Because that
Oh,
would
that
have
would
been
have been insane.
That would have
That
been,
would've
yeah.
been
They would get my
crazy.
respect.
that would have been so clutch if Ric Flair was the mascot.
We were just having this
The Woo
conversation
Sox.
that we haven't been over to a Woo Sox game yet, and Paw Sox is like, that was like
Oh,
nostalgic, man.
was
How many
peak.
Paw Sox games I've been to back in the
Dude,
day?
Oh my goodness. 4th of July at a Paw Sox game, dude, was peak. Like
Absolutely.
best fireworks show going, dude.
No, I'm on the same topic, but kind of not. You guys like on the Savannah Bananas like kick
I
because
like
they're
it.
like blown
I'm
up
into it,
right
dude.
now, dude.
Yeah, they filled an interesting void that kind of like bored, disenfranchised baseball fans
Yeah.
that liked baseball, but that were looking for something more entertaining. Man, did they fill that void because they sell out
Dude, they
stadiums.
sell out insane.
They're on
amounts.
TV now all the time. You can see them on multiple channels. Jake, it's not the episode that we taste tested the donuts. You have to go way back to when Josh first brought up these donuts.
It was when I was kicked off of social media. It was the Donut Gate episode. I think it's
Yes.
just called Donut Gate
I
episode.
think it is all actually called Donut Gate. But
But
anyway.
yeah,
Yeah, those Savannah Bananas, they're like
Dude.
blowing up. They sell stadiums, and I mean, listen to the CEO's like philosophy on
Yeah.
everything. It's actually pretty. It's really cool.
It's refreshing.
I mean, it is definitely.
It is very
Yeah, it's
refreshing.
brought a whole new flavor to baseball.
They don't-
and
They won't walk away from anybody. They'll sign all the autographs until everybody's done. Like it's fun. It's really fun to watch, dude.
No, it is. It's pretty awesome. And I've just seen that as like a huge craze, and again, now you watch one video, now your algorithm's just filled with it. So now my whole algorithm is Savannah Bananas.
yeah, Jake, just get that phone away from the microphone, please.
For the love of
For-
God, dude. Jeez.
I know you've already said
Do
you
you
were
not
gonna
hear it?
do that about 10 times, but
I didn't have my headphones in. I'm back, boys.
let the 11th be the charm.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's like kind of like Harlem Globetrotters, if you
Yeah.
remember
Yeah.
meets
Yeah.
baseball. I say it's about time. I mean, I love baseball and I love the purity of the game, but at the same time, it's like they really kind of let the game, just go the way of complete boredom, for a while,
Yeah.
and so
That's because we need to bring back steroids, dude.
for
Yeah.
sure, I'm all for it.
We need to juice the players, juice the balls, dude. We need
You
need
gotta
home
juice the
runs.
balls,
Yeah,
dude?
juice the balls, dude.
You
God
never,
bless.
you never heard about the juice ball
The
era?
juice balls? Juice ball era.
Oh man. Wow.
No, you lost me.
Yeah.
You lost me there.
Well, say here's the thing, dude. MLB was looking for fans, so they juiced the ball. They juiced the balls.
He needs
When
a
players
meaning.
were
He-
sleeping, they
he,
would go
he
in.
heard the phrase. He needs
I know.
a definition. Can
I'm
you?
doubling down. I don't know what they put in the balls, but basically,
I can't look at you straight while you keep talking about what they're putting in balls,
They're
dude.
referring to baseball.
Spencer, they specially engineered the balls to fly further
look Ken in the eye.
when hit. Okay, so they were like flying out of the park like crazy. So
Right.
maybe they weren't as like heavy or dense or whatever.
It's
More
like
rubbery.
Barry Bonds era, like around then.
Probably
Yeah.
yeah. So you combine the steroid era with the juice ball era, and forget it.
Yeah,
Forget
It
it.
was
Those things are going to outer space.
yeah. Those
Absolutely.
were good times. That's when baseball was at its best.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was.
man.
It was.
But yeah, tonight. So we have. We're going back to the listeners.
We love our listeners.
We love our listeners. And while we're on the topic of listeners, Ken, for any of our listeners, make sure you go on, you like, review, subscribe, give us a
Share it, man.
yeah.
Share it.
Nice.
give us a thumbs up. If you comment on our video, we will shout you out on a future video. So
Oh, new commenter Chantal Boulet a couple episodes back. Forgot to shout her out. She got in the thread, the one with the we talked about modesty.
Nice,
So-
nice.
So shout out to Shan.
Friend of mine in front of the pod, Kevin Ferreira,
Mm.
also an avid commenter. And you kind of crossed paths recently, but you guys didn't really. I don't think you saw each other.
Kevin,
but
I thank you. Maybe I'll meet you another time in a more appropriate venue.
actually, speaking of Kevin, Kevin, definitely an avid listener and viewer. He, both our daughters go to Bridgewater State University.
Oh wow.
And so he suggested that one day we, take a trip up and visit the girls because there's a donut shop in Bridgewater that he says he's heard is amazing, and so we may be doing a review at some point soon.
Live review. Catch you here.
We're waiting on the hot donut review too.
Oh, that's coming.
Yeah.
That's coming.
We need it.
That's gonna be great.
We need it.
That's gonna be a great collab.
But as I was saying,
I digress.
Yeah, as I was saying, you know what? We do great donut content. First of all,
really
can I
we
just
may
say
just
that
switch
real
over
quick?
completely.
Let's just only do
Wait, we got a poll. Like, are people actually liking the donut content? I've heard great things, but I've also heard, you might want to cut back the donut content.
I like it. I think it's a good touch.
I think so too, but
Absolutely. Those aren't real friends.
cares
we need
about
feedback.
everybody else?
Dude, my wife.
Oh,
She's not a real friend of the pod.
Well,
She must be a bagel gal.
she definitely is a bagel gal. 100%.
Not only is she a bagel gal, but I would almost guarantee that she is a pumpkin spice latte gal.
Not as much as you would think. I don't.
Bree,
no.
friend of the pod.
Cold foam lattes.
John, what was that comment you made to Daniel about one of our text threads that went back and forth this week, if you remember? It was a nice shot at Daniel. I really appreciated it.
I don't remember what
Something
I
about
said.
Daniel being on a tight leash, but I loved it.
Oh, that was you who said that. Oh.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh my goodness.
I don't need this, dude.
Anyways,
If I'm on a tight leash, it's in the
she's-
privacy of my own
Let
home.
me tell
Okay?
you, she's got a venti pumpkin spice latte in one hand, and she's got a diamond encrusted leash
Woof woof.
in the other with right around Daniel's
oh,
neck.
poor Daniel. Daniel, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you have to subject yourself to this.
Uh,
Bree, we're sorry. We're sorry. For
We
all
love you,
this.
Bree, friend of the pod.
Oh, can I actually ask a question? Because this has been like a burning question I've had for a little while. I don't know how long, a little while. But I keep seeing this person on Instagram. They they like my stories from time to time and stuff. And I go on their profile and I'm like, I see a lot of like random pictures of all different people who I know who they are, but there's not like a name on this account. And I'm like, who is this person? And the name is
Droopy balls.
I that's where I was going.
Katran?
Oh,
Dude,
that's my mother-in-law.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's my
Catran.
Catran.
Who's like the central person to this? Like, I know somebody I know in here. But I just don't know
Catherine,
who.
dude. Catherine. That's my mother-in-law.
Oh,
Shout out to my mother-in-law. Listen to the pod.
Shout out to her. Shout out.
Catherine.
She's always
God
involved
bless
in the
you.
incidents.
Yes.
We said we weren't going to do that.
Sorry, Catherine.
No, she is an avid liker
We
and
love
commenter.
Daniel's mother-in-law.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Friend of the pod for sure.
For
So
sure.
we mentioned my mother-in-law, my
I feel
wife.
better now.
You figured out. Mystery complete.
Who else can we go after in your circle
My
today?
mom.
we won't go
Mother,
after
guys.
anybody, but it was Brielle's first birthday.
Yeah.
How'd that go?
like it was nice that we had the family over that night. We
Yeah.
did a little cake and just some coffee. Nothing too crazy. If we throw like a 1-year-old birthday party, like the list will get really long
Yeah.
really quick. So we just like
That's
we're just
the-
gonna shrink it down, enjoy it. We did the main trip is like a celebration of all our birthdays within 3 weeks of each other anniversary, and Brielle's like 1 year. So that was what we
Nice.
decided.
So are we not going to bring up the incident?
Oh God, not the incident.
Great job.
Not again, dude.
Great job.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Oh my goodness. But anyways, so we had a couple listeners that had reached out actually to each one of you,
Yeah.
Ken and
Separately,
Daniel,
yeah.
separately
Separately.
for the
Within
same.
like a week too.
Yeah, it was like scarily close
Yeah.
to each other.
So when God's moving, we're gonna move.
That's
We're
it,
gonna
baby.
move. We're gonna talk about it. So the people want to hear it. We're gonna talk about it. Daniel, I think if you want, you have what this person asked you.
Yeah.
All right.
So I have a question that was sent to me, friend of the pod, Jordan, and
Jay Floats.
yeah. So he said, so the question is swearing a sin depending on intent behind it, or is it a sin in general? Like if you're using it in jokes instead of being angry at people, is that okay?
Yep, and then friend of the pod, Joel Correa, texted me on the side and had just a really similar question, not word for word. I don't have my phone in front of me, but similar question. You know, what's the pod's take on swearing? Is it a sin? How far is too far, and things of that nature. So yeah, just really like within the same week. So cool.
All right. Let's be vulnerable in here. What are you waving? What are you waving at, Johnny?
I think something good
I
just
think something
happened.
just good and happened in the game, you know.
What game,
The
dude?
Cowboys scored, dude.
What game?
Yeah, week 5
The
Cowboys.
Cowgirls scored.
this October 8th game.
This
whatever
game.
the date is.
No, I think it's the 6th.
October 6th game. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna raise my hand. I definitely swear sometimes. I don't do it very often, but yeah. And I've thought the same thing. So this is also a question that I have. And I think it's very relevant because this conversation can almost be even more than whether using profanity or swearing. But anything that you're saying, is it permissible? Is it sinful? The type of words you're saying, the type of conversations you're having, I think this can encompass all of that. So I really think it's a great question by these people.
It's a great question, and it's definitely a worthy conversation. I think it's kind of a tough question to answer definitively when you're talking about, like, is it sin? And I think I could probably come up with some pros and cons, which I know sounds like a cop-out, but I'm just being real, as far as, like, what the Scripture says about it. I think in general, if we were going to give it an overview, I don't think it's something that a believer should, practice or engage in. And the thing I can just off the top, and again, the Bible doesn't, use that term swearing. That's more of an oath in the Bible. When you swear by something, you're making an oath. So, like whatever, curse words or coarse talk, the Bible in Ephesians 5 definitely says that we're not to engage in coarse talk, and then like basically like jokes that are, I think the implication is just that like kind of like raunchy or things that are immoral in nature. And so I think for an overview, the Bible definitely would warn against coarse talk, which I think would be the best, synonym for what we're talking about. And then, just being excessive in like immoral jokes and things that are over the top in that way.
Trump would call it locker room talk.
Locker room talk. For sure. Locker room talk.
But when I think of where does this idea even start, that this using language like this is sinful?
I think a lot of times, like, I think morality and like what is viewed as good and bad can kind of carry over into the Christian world a little bit, and then the words for good and bad in the Christian world are like bad is sin and good is godliness, or holiness, and so we're just easy to kind of toss some of those words out when it necessarily isn't so pointed in that way directly in the Bible. So I think to answer your question, I think that's kind of where it happens. Like, I mean, a non-believer could even say this. I know plenty of non-believers who just do not like to use foul language. They think it's too coarse, abrasive, it's rude, it's not necessary. So I think because that can kind of be an understood thing. I mean, there's certain places and contexts, no matter who you are, you're not just going to go and drop an F-bomb. It's inappropriate. I think there's a universal agreement at that. But, I think that carries over in the church a little bit, but we just call it sin because it's easy to just call it that because it's something we shouldn't be doing or may not reflect God's heart and character, So
basically there's a cultural aspect to it that culturally it's understood like this probably isn't language that you should be using.
For sure. I think this carries over in cultures a lot differently because there's a lot of things in the context of certain cultures, certain languages that are not crude but are like crude in other cultures. There's certain things that...
I actually have... Can I just interrupt you for a second? Because I have a perfect example. I thought about this today. Is that my wife is of Portuguese descent and some of her sisters are married to Brazilians. And so there's a word in Portuguese, Daniel recognized it, rapariga, which you would use kind of like just like kind of loosely, I think, right? Your daughter, like or it means girl.
Rapariga, girl.
Girl.
That's a rapariga, this girl.
This rapariga, this girl. So yeah, not daughter, sorry. But like, I think parents might like, in correcting or just like kind of loosely call their daughters like, hey girl, like that. Like you would like say. Yeah. But for Brazilians, that means prostitute. So the first time that one of the brother-in-laws heard the parent call her, his fiance or whatever she was to be to him, Hepariga, he got like mortified, like, oh my gosh, your dad or your mom just called you a prostitute. He's like, no, that means just girl, you know. So definitely, and that's it's actually a conversation I was having with one of my brother-in-laws this week, was just the cultural differences that make applying the word sometimes difficult.
Definitely.
You know, just because of the dual or different meanings of things depending on where you are, and then even just kind of the tone and things like that. It can be very different culturally.
Right. And I think...
Sorry to interrupt you, by the way.
Oh, no. Yeah,
no,
actually, go ahead. Go ahead.
That's, I mean, that's the point I'm making.
Oh, okay. I think even biblically, though, when we talk about kind of using language, like tough language, I pulled it up. Galatians 5:12, Paul uses strong language in this verse where he says, I'd wish they'd emasculate themselves or basically castrate themselves. And when he's saying that,
What version of the Bible you reading?
the right one.
Sorry.
No, it might be the
it
might be the easy to read version for me, because I like it as easy as I can get it. But it's not to say that what you're saying basically is sinful. It's a lot of it is in where your heart's at when you're saying it. And in this sense, I think Paul's upset about, I think, harassment that's happening in the church. So when we talk about where the heart is at while you're saying these things, I think that's something that we really have to consider for the core of this question, is whether or not is it sinful. Well, in what situation are you using this language? In what situation are you saying these whatever words that you're saying?
Yeah, I can see that, because one of the references from Scripture I was going to bring up today is Matthew 5, and Jesus is talking about the heart and how murder starts in the heart, but then he elaborates and goes on to talk about how even if you call your brother a fool, you're in danger of hellfire. So if that's not sin, you know, I don't know what is. You know what I mean? Where there's warning that Jesus is saying, like, you know, if murder starts in the heart, and then, you know, you're aggressively are name calling your brother, well, what could come next? You know what I mean? Because everything starts as a thought and a concept before it becomes an action. And that's, I mean, that's his words. Or you can read it right in Matthew 5. You'll be in danger of hellfire. So I think, and that's where I said, like, I think we can come up with some pro and con here to answer that question, because in that case, I think Jesus is being explicit that doing that is sinful. I may be wrong, but what do you think?
Yeah, no. So in Luke, I had pulled up Luke 6:45. Good people have good things to say, good things saved in their hearts. That's why they say good things. But those who are evil have hearts full of evil, and that's why they say things that are evil. What people say with their mouths comes from what fills their hearts. And I think that's a majority of the point is, where is your heart? Where is your thought process behind these things that are being said?
I think you can comb the scriptures, and I mean, all throughout God's word is, you know, little traces of the power of our words and how we should use it, and also what that says about the condition of your heart.
That's
you know, out of the abundance of your heart, you know, comes those words. So, like, I think is as we talk about, you know, swearing and all that, I think a lot of it comes down to condition of the heart, but also your witness and your testimony. And I don't necessarily think it's about calling it, you know, sin or not sin, because I think in that, you know, you're kind of trying to find free license to do something you're already uneasy about.
Yeah.
If you have to ask the question, there's conviction there that already is assuming that it's telling you within yourself that it's wrong. So you don't go against your convictions. If you have to ask, you know, then there's something in your spirit that's not settling right with you saying, oh, should I be using this language? I don't really know. Like, you don't need to make an excuse for it. Always fall on the error of of caution. You know, err on the side of caution with this, because your convictions might be leading you correctly. You know, that might even be the Holy Spirit leading you to be more of a witness and a testimony. To be holy, the definition of holy really means to be set apart. And so we want to be set apart, not perfect, but we want to be striving to be set apart from, the things of this world. And so should we be talking like everybody? Should we be acting like everybody? That not to say that you can't, joke around and have a good time and all that stuff, but, should you be participating in certain crude jokes or certain things? Like, I think at some point, there isn't just free license to do and say whatever we want. We do have to operate within certain parameters, because we do not just live for ourselves and represent ourselves on this earth, but we are ambassadors for Christ. We are our lives are to be ambassadors for Christ on this earth. So what are our lives, our words, and our testimony saying? Are they all pointing to the same thing? Or are our lives saying one thing and then our words are saying another, and our testimony is here? And at one point I'll cast love, but another point I'll curse you out with like a sailor. So I think it's just trying to live in a more center life rather than in these categorical extremes.
I think that's a great point. If I could, just before you hop in, I think about you think about young Jeremiah. Would you intentionally swear in front of him, or would it be something that would come out of like frustration, or like you bang, you're hammering a nail and you hit your thumb and that's how it comes out. But like how do you navigate that? Like, is that something that you just throw, hey Jeremiah, you want to go play some effing basketball? or like, so how would you navigate that? And then how does that more direct your intent? You know what I mean? Or where does that line you up with how you navigate this issue as a whole?
Right. And so personally, it's one of those things where, no, I don't do any cursing in front of my son, or I try to avoid it as much as I can. I'm not really a big swearer to begin with, but then now, like, thinking about it, it's like, all right,
okay, wait a minute. Hold on 1 second. Is somebody breathing like really heavy into the mic, or is there thunder?
That's why I'm pulling my earphones and I'm like, I don't think I hear thunder.
That's Jake.
Is that me or you?
I don't know.
I think that was you.
That's one of these two.
All right.
You guys get it together in the
I thought we
booth.
had a thunderstorm going over it, and then I'm like, wait a minute.
Looking,
that's too
to
much
see
in rhythm.
lightning.
It's too much in rhythm.
It's 100% Jake.
All right, here we go.
Blaming Jake. But so I think about it, for me, for how I was raised, you know what I mean? That it's just not something you do. You shouldn't really be swearing in the home to begin with. You definitely shouldn't be swearing in front of children. But then I think about somebody who's raised differently, where that maybe isn't a value that they have. Maybe it's something where they can do it in a loving way and anything like that. That's why I think this is...
I love you.
You never said that? I love you, bro. You know what I mean? But I think that's where this gets complicated, because I think it is culturally, like you said before, Daniel, I think it is one of those things where culturally we've been taught that these words are no-no words. We don't say these words or whatever. But I think, once again, different cultures, different ways that you're raised, different things like that. It could be something that, it's not as demonized, I guess, for lack of a better term, than it would be in my house. You know what I mean?
Well, but I think, not to challenge that necessarily, but I will kind of put that up against where you said, well, somebody who's raised differently, but I can guarantee you that there are situations and arenas that they will still never use those words.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sure.
So
right.
there's always kind of like a standard somewhere.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what we need to navigate tonight is like, how do you navigate that, and what is that standard, and what should be that standard, and what are the ramifications if you don't?
Yeah.
And also, I think a lot of people if you wouldn't say it in school, where's your reverence to be saying it in
Right.
church, and then you carry that forward as a believer, if it's not something that you would say to your mother, or something that you would say to a teacher or a principal, why should we be saying these things out of that context at all?
Right.
Do we not have a reverence or a fear for the Lord, or do we not care to resemble him in that way? And I think that's some of the thought process that happens in this debate versus, is swearing sinful? Is it not? Is it bad? Is it good? Is it impartial?
Let's start with one.
Or is
thing.
it semantics?
It's all semantics. Let's start with one thing, I guess. So when you are around somebody that's swearing, somebody that's every other word, like how does that make you feel?
I'll be honest, it kind of wears on me. after
Yeah.
a while. I'm not the one, and I've already said this in a previous episode. Like, I'm not going to correct them, be like, oh, that hurts my ears. I'm a
Right.
Christian, and all that, because I think that's a little bit of self-righteousness there. But I will be honest. I think it does wear on me after a while, just because it's like, I mean, there's a lot of adjectives out there. You know what I mean? Like, you can't think of one adjective besides that one.
A scholar and a gentleman he is.
No, honestly, it's just like, and so it does wear on me, and I don't know why it does necessarily, but just because that word is typically associated with frustration, aggression. I mean, it can be used for lots of different meanings if we're going to talk about the F word,
Right.
with 4 letters. So it does. It wears on me after a while, and if I knew the person well, maybe that's a conversation that we might have, but for their benefit, not mine. You know what I mean? Because, I just think coarse talk after a while, it's, I think you can become so loose with it that you're saying it in situations and in front of people you really shouldn't be, and then you talk about being able to, I mean, I think, we talked about reverence for the Lord. I think that would be in the realm of like using the Lord's name in vain. But I think when it comes to cursing, it's really reverence for people, because then, you're going to corrupt a bunch of kids, and they hear that word, they think it's acceptable. And is it? You know what I mean? I think that's the kind of questions that we have to answer.
Right.
Like, is it acceptable? Because then if you all these 6-year-olds that are saying it because you're so loose with it and you're not careful about how you speak in front of people, have you corrupted them? So I think that's where the sin is, maybe more than anything, is just the reverence for other people and the offense that it can cause.
Right.
For sure. And I think when you start to get into this conversation, you can start to partition it out quite a bit. And what I've seen and how I typically see this debate played out is somebody, you'll be in a group of Christians and somebody will say a word, like somebody will say ASS. And like totally casual.
That's in the King James Bible.
So, so casual, not like even think about it. And then another Christian would be like, yo, why are you swearing? Oh, that's not a swear. And then you start battling semantics about, oh, is this a swear? Is that
Right.
not a swear?
What crosses
Is
the line?
SHIT a swear or is it not a swear? No, it's just poop. I mean, what makes SHIT different than crap, different than poop? It's all just like words, so at what point, I think there's a universal agreement that the F word is the F word, and that's kind of like the big one, but I think in a lot of senses, some of the others start to kind of filter down, and then there's more obscure ones that you could throw in there that, people will say it's a swear. Some people will just say that's just really harsh, and I don't know that you should be saying it. So, again, this is like a lot of the things that we've talked about. It's hard to just say, okay, these 6 words are completely off-limit words. I don't know that you can particularly just, like, portion it out like that so clearly.
Yeah, and I've known people who will use profanity like their commas in their sentences. It's
Oh,
like
100%.
It's like a filler word.
every other. Yeah, it's a sentence enhancer. That's a SpongeBob shout out for all of you
Love
people. The sentence enhancers. Play the dolphin noise. But I think going back to what you said before, Ken, I think if you're the person that is using that language, I think there's also a respect thing there, because if you're just openly using this, like if you're having a conversation with me and every other word is the F word or whatever, like you clearly have no respect for me, like and my boundaries, like you said before, where I draw that line, and it just feels uneducated at some level. You know what I mean? It feels disrespectful. It feels uneducated. It just feels like ignorant to some degree, where you feel like you need to use this type of language every time you talk.
Yeah, I mean, let's just like kind of play like a theoretical here. Like, okay, like the F word, for example. In America, we know that's the big daddy of all curse words. But let's say in, I don't know, Kazakhstan, that was like a regular word that you use. So do you just like, I think some people just try to apply like a blanket logic to things, and they're like, well, it's acceptable in Kazakhstan, so why can't I say it here? Well, it's offensive here. And I think, again, if we're going to talk about using these words, I think it's more reverence and respect for people than it is about anything else. Why would I knowingly, intentionally offend somebody, just by a word that I could use a billion other words in its place, And so you're talking about old ladies, or you're talking about churches, or you're talking about schools, or you're talking about children. And so there's so many people. I mean, my wife, John will tell you, man, like my wife would like go toe to toe with a biker gang if they were cursing around children. Like she like feels so strongly about you do not use. I mean, she would kind of like have an out of body experience for a little while, and she would like go put her finger in the chest.
I bet she's almost gone toe to toe with me on a Sunday for picking fun at you.
There you go. So
That is factual, dude.
and so, but I think her point is just more the respect element. Like, why would you knowingly and intentionally, say things that you don't even have to say, but that will cause offense to, I would say, a large portion of the population.
All right. So let me ask this. Let me just then now ask it in this way. What about in moments of pain? Like you brought up hammering the thumb by accident. Moments of grief. Moments.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's. I mean, I think there's grace for that. I mean, I think when you have moments of like duress or like pain or like shock or whatever it might be.
What about excitement though? What about I'm happy about something?
I mean, I suppose
I feel like when you're happy, your emotions are a little bit more controlled than like when you stub your you jam your finger in a door, and like I feel like that like is a knee-jerk reaction to pain, right? But however, I feel like happiness is kind of like there's a more control there. Semantics again, I guess you could battle it out.
It might be, but I think the key emotion that we're leaving out is anger, because that's the one that's probably going to elicit the most harsh words.
But that I think is born in the heart.
Well, but exactly. Yeah. That's the point I was going to bring back. I was going to bring it back to Matthew 5 and Jesus, because he's definitely talking about anger of why you would, say that to your brother. And if we can even open it up a little bit more or make another connection is, we call these words curse words. And just like we said, like a swear is like a pledge or an oath in the Bible. A curse is, what Jake's former girlfriend's mom was wanting to do, coming over, sprinkling that white powder. Throwback to last episode, when he dated the witch. A curse in the Bible, is really when you are trying to harm somebody, with words. And so we call them curses, or someone, came up with that word, because if we're going to be honest, a lot of times, probably more times than not, these words are used in anger. And Proverbs 18 says, Daniel kind of alluded to it earlier, is that life and death is in the power of the tongue. And so I definitely can name a handful of people that were cursed in their upbringing by their parents or by one of their parents with those harsh words. And it became a curse for them. You effing dummy, you're effing no good, and so those words became synonymous with their unfortunate identity of being no good, dummy, trash, and all these things. And so we can see where this can be much more consequential than just some word that I use or some adjective that I sometimes throw out there. Oftentimes used in anger, and definitely can curse people when it is used with intent like that.
Yeah, words can be used to bless, or they can be used to curse, right?
100%.
We're called to use them as a blessing.
I think I think something that's helpful is a good scripture to reference. If anybody listen to this episode and this is something that you battle with, which I think at some point we all kind of battle with it and we all can struggle with it. But if we go and read Ephesians 4, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, but if you go from 17 to 32, like in the NLT, the subheading is living as children of light. And I think it's kind of talking about your witness and your testimony. And, I think that there's a lot in this section that talks about kind of holiness and being, set apart. But it's, in verse 22, throw off your old sinful nature and your former ways of life, which is corrupted by lust and deception. Instead, let the Spirit renew your thoughts and your attitudes. Put on your new nature. If fast-forwarded, don't let anger control you. Stop telling lies. And then in verse 29, Don't use foul or abusive language. Let everything you say be good and helpful, so your words may be an encouragement to those who hear them. Don't bring sorrow to God's Holy Spirit by the way you live. Remember, he has identified you as your own, set you apart, guaranteeing that you will be saved on the day of redemption. Get rid of bitterness, rage, anger, harsh words, slander, as well as all types of evil behavior. Be kind, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, just as God through Christ has forgiven you. And there's just so much more in 17 through 32. Like, I encourage you to go read that if you're listening or if you're watching. Go and read that section and really kind of use it as a mirror to point back to your own life. Like, what in your life isn't reflecting God's nature? Or what is more your old nature than your new nature? What does it mean to be set apart? And ask yourself those hard questions, not because I think a lot of times we read the Bible and kind of to seek affirmation and justification for the things we want to do that we ought not to do. You know what I mean? And so we're kind of looking for, okay, is there liberty in this? Am I allowed to do this? Yeah. But really, like, read it without any, forethought. Go in and read that and use it as a mirror and measure it up to your life and say, okay, is this really what it means to be set apart? Is this really what it means to be made a new creation in Christ Jesus? Is this really reflecting God's heart with anger, rage, or harsh words, bitterness, or is it more so reflecting being tender-hearted, forgiving, being kind? So I think that we can look to Scripture for a lot of these things,
100%.
and we're gonna get clear answers. But a lot of times you just got to read it without looking for justification or affirmation for the things that you're kind of on edge about, while looking for an excuse or allowance to do, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think Daniel's point's a good one, because if we're going to say, okay, is it sin, that might not be as clear as we might want it to be. But if you were to ask me, Josh, like point blank, like should a Christian swear? I'd say no, point blank no. And just for the verses that he just read. Because if we're going to be set apart, if we're going to be different, that's certainly going to be one of the ways that you're going to be different, is you're not going to talk like so many of the people do with like coarse talk and foul. I think, was that the phrase used? Foul?
Foul, yep. Foul or abusive language.
Foul or abusive language. And so, yeah, should you? No, I don't believe you should as a believer, because I think it definitely hurts your testimony. And I think that's what it's all about. We're supposed to be good witnesses of Jesus. And so, is it sin? That becomes, I think, a little bit murkier of a discussion topic. I think it certainly can be. But should you? No, I don't think so.
And 17 says, with the Lord's authority I say this, live no longer as the Gentiles do, for they are hopelessly confused. Yeah. So speaking to that kind of set apart, what does it look like to be set apart, Josh?
And like I said before, I don't think this necessarily only applies to foul language and,
100%.
and the idea of swearing and things like that. It also could be crude jokes, could be gossip, could be this covers a multitude of different conversations or things that you could be saying to somebody or saying about somebody. And I think this does cover that. And once again, it comes from the heart, because I can call you a big dummy, and you know that I'm just busting your chops. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, we're still friends. We still love one another and all that. Yeah. So I think it comes along with the relationships that you have with people too. But understanding, if you're living in the way that, Daniel, that you just kind of laid out, then those conversations, those crude jokes, that foul language, that just kind of doesn't come part of your repertoire anymore. And you notice that more the longer that you're walking with God, because trust me, when we first start out, when I was first baptized, I was like, clean living, baby, here we go, cutting everything out,
break the CDs, throw the records out the window.
Yeah, that's it. And but then eventually you're gonna fall short. You're gonna let yourself down.
100%.
You're gonna let yourself down. It's gonna slip, and then that slip turns into another slip, and then another slip, and then you realize you're kind of almost right back where you were. But that's when you got to sit and reflect. And I don't know how many times Ken has said it on this podcast, but that might be your opportunity to really think about where you're at and come and seek God again.
For sure. for sure. What is the booth take?
Johnny, cut it out, dude.
What's he doing in
I
there?
ran out of storage. I'm trying to get the booth angle back in here.
All right. Can you do it in 30 seconds? I was about to.
We're rolling. We're good.
All right, Booth. What's the take on this?
No, yeah, I totally agree with you guys.
Booth angle's gone.
No, that's all right.
Go ahead, Spence.
We'll hear you.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to take the main shot? Just put it in there.
Yeah, Johnny, can you set up that angle and then just make sure you cut to it when you guys are all talking?
Just take that phone off and put it where your phone is.
Yeah, we'll edit.
Because if you're gonna cut to the booth, it's gonna
Yeah.
be a weird long shot. And if Spence says some truth, we want to
We
use
want
it
to
for
see.
real.
We want to see. Yeah, we want to see that.
Look
that
right
guy.
into the camera when you say it. Spence.
Yeah.
Deep
Like
into the camera.
TJ Maxx.
Think about to the
What?
intensity that Jake is breathing into the mic. You
Oh
stare
my
at the
God.
phone that way.
That's like Batman levels of
Dude, like I thought Bane was in the building.
It's like Darth Vader over here.
I thought there was a thunderstorm going overhead.
Daniel, you look like a Baltimore Orioles fan.
Yeah,
Camden
it's got
Yards.
some colors on
Thanks,
that.
man.
Baltimore
I'm proud of
color.
you.
Born
Thank
into the
you, I'll take
darkness,
that.
Batman.
I was born.
I must break you.
Darkness.
Thanks for the breathing.
Ra's al Ghul.
One of us have to be in the wreckage, brother.
Thankful to be breathing.
thankful for oxygen. Fresh water, oxygen.
Thanks for
roof over
oxygen
your
in my
head.
lungs.
Those donuts. You ever find out where those donuts came from?
Which one?
Your break room donuts?
The clip
Break
you
room
dropped.
donuts.
That.
Oh, Letty's.
Oh,
Hey.
dude.
They looked like Letty's
you had
donuts.
you had one stale pop over there. Don't
It
even.
was a whole dozen.
All right, you had a whole
It was
dozen
very-
stale
those
pops.
Letty's
but
were
the
amazing.
donuts,
Bad.
dude.
All right,
All
that's
I kept
fine.
going back for
All right.
seconds, thirds, fourths.
right, here we go. I'm gonna-
Spencer
now-
came by with some Maz the other day.
Oh, now that is
Yeah.
a good
Now
friend.
I'm gonna have to go
Oh.
get some Town Landing
That was
tomorrow.
good
Oh
times.
my God,
Good
so
times.
good.
I have to get
I
some
didn't even
Town
bring that
Landing.
up. I forgot.
Dude, Andrew Madera sliced his finger open, went to the ER. Long story short, was there till 2 a.m. Left the ER, went straight to Ma's Donuts, got fresh donuts at 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, whenever they first opened.
Good for him,
Wow.
dude.
Oh, so
It's how to
good.
turn a
He
bad
said it was
situation.
Yeah,
so good.
that's lemons into lemonade, baby.
Absolutely.
All right,
let's cut
is
to the
Booth-
booth.
Is booth angle up?
Yep, we're good.
All right, here we go. I'm gonna take it again. Booth, what do you got to say about this topic?
So I just was gonna say, I totally agree with what you guys have to say. My personal kind of conviction has always been it's a no-go, and I think for the reasons that you said, Daniel, when you were reading that scripture. Another one I thought was when I think Jesus was talking to the Pharisees and they were getting on him and the disciples like, oh, they don't wash their hands before they eat, and he said, it's not what goes in to your mouth that defiles you, but what comes out.
That's right.
That's good.
Great reference.
So I thought about that, and then the other thing I would ask, I guess, to the people who ask that question is, why do you want to? Think about that.
Yeah, the why is a big one. That's good stuff. Jake, what do you got?
Well, I did paving for a couple of years in construction, and I
This kid's whole life is a LinkedIn
Yeah,
profile.
no, I was about
It's
to say,
like-
is that on your
It's my
LinkedIn?
resume, dude.
it is. It's not actually. It's not. I took it off.
Okay,
I don't look like a
that's okay.
too much of a blue collar worker.
Proceed.
God forbid.
So did paving for a couple of years. I used to have a guy on the paver. He was an old guy. I've been doing it for over 35 years. He used to give me crap every day, tell me how bad my life was, swear at me, bring me down. And they got to a point where I wasn't a Christian at the time, so I was like, I had to give it back to him. I felt like, so that was thinking about what you guys are saying. It's like that was out of anger, and I'm not gonna lie, but I still do struggle with when I'm mad, when I'm alone, I do swear from time to time. So it's something that I'm a work in progress for. So if there's anybody listening, God is not far away for myself, speaking to myself mostly, but anybody that's listening, if you are struggling with, the sin of swearing, even if it is, by yourself, being frustrated, God's right there. So just turn back to him.
Nice. Yeah. And just real quick, aside of that is, when we have guys who come into church, maybe get saved, especially guys that are in construction and rough around the edges, that's typically, it becomes the greatest testimony to their coworkers, because a lot of times they'll tell me stories where their coworkers like, what happened to you? Oh, what do you mean? Dude, you don't swear anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't need to have a case, you know, beer when you get out of work. You know what I mean? It's like seriously, like so. But what comes out of their mouth though is typically the first thing that people on a job site like that, just because that's all that they say, is noticed. You know, and so it becomes a testimony. So I just want to throw that in there, Johnny.
I think it's so like prevalent in today's world. Like even like young kids are swearing, and you can. It's just like it's everywhere. It's in school. It's in movies, books, videos, like whatever. You can find it wherever. So I think in a generation where it's so prevalent, so easy to come across anybody who swears, I think it's important just to like guard your heart, guard your mind, what you hear, what you say.
That's right.
That's
Don't conform, be transformed.
That's right.
That's right.
I want to tell you a quick story before the KTT is I've shared this story. I don't know if on the pod before, but I've shared it with people because I think it illustrates it well. But one of our nephews, when he was young, probably like elementary school, and definitely grew up hearing that word a lot more. Certainly, you know, we didn't use that word in our home, but drops the F-bomb one time. He was in our care a lot too when he was younger. Drops the F-bomb. And so I don't know if I thought, but I went and I grabbed his cheeks like you would to like stick somebody's tongue out, and I grabbed a pair of scissors and I said, if you ever say that word in my house again, I'll cut your tongue off. Guess what? Never.
He's got no tongue now.
Never. Yeah.
You can't talk now.
He is now mute. No.
Gangster.
No, guess what? He never ever used that word again. You know, and it wasn't just like the heavy-handedness of it. Like there was a respect gained. Like, all right, like when I'm in this house, Ken doesn't play, and we have a great relationship to this day, and we continued to as he grew older because, like I said, he was in our care a lot. We would take him to school as our kids went to the same school and things of that nature. So, I just want to throw that in there. Just I love that story.
When I was a kid, my father would, if I swore, I would get the hot sauce on the tongue, dude.
Oh, yeah. That's great.
Oh, my goodness.
That's great.
I'd get that if I was sassy.
Yeah, no sass.
I remember one time sitting
You
at
strike me as a
sitting at
sassy boy.
sitting at the water, sitting at the water fountain at the fridge, like with my tongue out, just wanting to just drink, and my mom was like, "Don't you dare, don't you dare."
Deb, friend of the pod.
Yeah,
Rough times.
That one still. I think that's why I don't like hot sauce. That's why I don't like hot buffalo sauces and
Me
all
either.
that. So I think it's
Me either, dude.
my childhood trauma.
That's your trauma. We're gonna have Deb, friend of the pod, on this episode. I wanna hear you two talk about old stories because
throw it
the
back.
Deb of your childhood, it doesn't really resonate
no way,
with the
dude,
Deb
yeah.
of today.
No way.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She seems to be like this mom who probably just like pranced around and patted you on the head and.
Oh, she very much did. She very much
Yeah,
did.
but I've heard some stuff where she backhanded you.
You only
and
hear
all
the
this stuff.
you've only heard the two rare occasions where, like apparently I did something good enough that it just dug underneath that like last layer of skin. Because as you know, I'm a lot. I'm a lot. Believe it or not, I don't know if you know this.
Sometimes I feel like I'm one of your parents.
but I am a lot. So I definitely I pushed the buttons too far. She's a patient woman. Woman of a saint.
She is.
Saint of a woman.
We love Deb,
There we
friend
go.
of the pod. All right, we're ready
You got
for
a KTT?
I got a KTT
Hit me
for
with the
sure.
KTT.
All right, music plays and KTT. So I hear a lot of people that will say, I can't stop when it comes to cursing. Like, I can't stop. Like, I don't know what it is. And that's real. Like, I understand that. But my answer for anybody who's saying that is, of course you can stop. Self-control, certainly one of the fruits of the Spirit of the Bible. But beyond that, there's a great principle to live by, or a great saying that I think anyone can adopt for learning, and that is garbage in, garbage out.
That's a good point.
You know, if you are just steeped in foul language and swearing, I would ask you to check your inputs, check your garbage in. Like, what are you allowing in? What kind of music are you listening to? What kind of TV and movies are you watching? What kind of people are you hanging around with? Because I guarantee you it won't be long. If you're filling your ears with the words that you don't want to say, you're going to have no control over it, and you're going to say it anyway. So garbage in, garbage out. What are you allowing into your ears, into your heart, into your brain? It can only stay in there for so long before it has to come back out again. And then once it does, it can become like a tidal wave, very hard to stop. So check your influences is what I would say. And, again, check your company. It might just be what's around you more than what's in you.
It's beautiful.
Really, KTT. Dude.
Nothing but greatness.
KTT.
Hashtag.
Great job.
Buy a shirt today.
At TJ Maxx.
Right next to the Coleman slivers.
Coleman. Shout out to Coleman.
Shout out.
All right, guys. Well, I hope this touched your heart. I hope you, for those that did ask this question, I hope we were able to provide you with a good answer, something that you can really think about and apply to your lives. So, yeah, until next time.
Love and peace. I'm bleeping you on that one.
Go yourself. The Not Safe for Sunday podcast is recorded in the loft. Our production team is Spencer Berriman, Jacob McCall, and John Walsh. You can find us on social media at NSFS Podcast. If you'd like to join us for a Sunday service, you can find us at Conquerors for Christ Church, located at 972 Reed Road in North Dartmouth, Massachusetts.